Hello, this is a quick tutorial or tour through the new course template. You will see on the left-hand side of the page a more condensed view on the course menu panel. There's a main content area and a student's tool area. The Start Here area is similar to what you're probably used to with course orientation. In this section, you will have information that students need to know at the very beginning of starting your course. There is a placeholder for a welcome video and/or step-by-step instructions that you will provide to students for their first week in the course. We can also adapt other items in this area based upon what your needs are. For example, this particular subject matter expert wanted to teach students how to view their grades and find grading rubrics that are built into Blackboard. So we included those tutorials in this section so that students were introduced to the functionality that they need to be aware of in the very beginning of the course. There's also an announcements area, which you're used to, where you can post weekly announcements introducing students to the new module that they will be starting and maybe providing some closing comments about the module that is ending. There's also the course content area, and this is where all of the weekly module information will be, as well as the course syllabus and schedule. Now, when you go into, let's say, Module Week 1, there are two content folders. There's a Reading and Study folder, and there's a Learning Activities and Assessment folder. In the Reading and Study folder, this is the content that you will present to your students that will help them be prepared to complete the learning activities and assessment. So there are weekly textbook chapter assignments, and those are itemized there. If you have articles and web pages, we would indicate this here. And there are presentations, and these could be videos, which we highly recommend in an online setting just because it just gives different media that meets different learning styles and gives another way for students to interact with learning materials. People tend to be pretty visual, so presentations work well. You may also place podcasts or things like that, or narrated PowerPoints in this area. And if you have supplemental materials, those are included at the bottom. And of course, supplemental materials are those things that are not required to complete, but if the student wants to dig in a little bit deeper, the supplemental materials help them do that. In the Learning Activities and Assessment folder, specifically in Module Week 1, there are two items that will be placed in every online course going forward. The Course Attendance Review. This may be something you're used to seeing the syllabus quiz. This is a way for us to verify that the student intends to attend. And this is a way that the registrar can know that the student has had some activity, therefore, and also that there is a statement that the student has read the syllabus. So that this is in every module Week 1 and every course being developed and redeveloped moving forward. Then there is an introduction discussion board assignment, and this is something that is static again across new and redeveloped courses. One of the things you have to keep in mind is when students are learning from a distance, they can very easily feel isolated and alone, and when they feel that way, it is easy for them to say, okay, this isn't working out for me, and they leave. You never hear from them. They just stop submitting assignments, they stop logging in. If that student in the very beginning of the course can create a connection with another student or with you, this is going to help the student feel committed because they know people in their class who they feel like know them now. And so that is why we include the introduction discussion board assignment. And of course, we have other assignments that are created by our subject matter experts to be completed. One thing that I will note, although this is not a requirement, I highly recommend it, grading rubrics. For all of your assignments, if you want your students to know what you expect and what good looks like, one of the ways that you can do that is by providing a rubric that specifies, okay, this is the criteria that I'm going to grade you on, and this is what excellent looks like, okay looks like, and subpar looks like, so that it is very clear to that student what performance they are producing when they submit their assignment. Another thing that I recommend specifically with paper type of assignments is if you have a specific format that you want to see students deliver on, you may want to submit a sample paper, and that sample paper doesn't have to be a full paper. It could be, let's say, a title page and the first page, or it could be an outline of a paper that you want students to follow. Keep it in mind that a lot of the students that you will get online in your courses are adult learners. And these adult learners, it may have been years since they've done anything academically, so they don't remember how to write a paper. So especially in lower level undergraduate and graduate courses, if you have a sample, I definitely recommend providing that so students know what you're looking for. Now in the student tool, and also you'll see in the discussion, there's a discussion board link here. If you have group assignments or a lot of journal assignments, we may place a shortcut on the course menu panel for you. Now in the students tool area, there's a calendar that students may use. This is the My Grades areas where they will find their grades. Of course, HBU email, quick link to their email. About your professor is something that's new. And I wish I had that in this one. But basically, what it entails is providing your name, your policy about communication, when you're available for emails and maybe a phone call. Also, a little bit of information about yourself. You can post a picture here, and which I highly recommend that you do, so students can see, okay, this is a real person. And of course they know that mentally, but seeing a picture of you, it establishes a connection. But also provide a little bit of information about you, and that could be your education, but maybe a couple of personal tidbits, your hobbies, things that again will help students see your humanity and will help them connect with you. And if they're connected with you, they'll feel comfortable asking questions of you, which you definitely want them to do. And then there is the usual course evaluations menu panel area where your course evaluations will be loaded. This concludes the tour of the new course template. If you have any questions, please contact your instructional designer assigned to your course.